Why does social presence matter? Picture this. You walk into a crowded room. You haven't said a single word, yet every pair of eyes that lands on you is already making decisions. Is this person confident or insecure? Trustworthy or fake? Someone to pay attention to or someone to ignore? That's the harsh truth. Before you even open your mouth, people have already judged you. Day 4 of the Stoic journey isn't about destroying your old self anymore. It isn't just about building your body or sharpening your mind. Today, we step into a new battlefield, the social world, where everything you've trained inside finally gets tested outside. And here's the question: will you fade into the background, or will your presence command the room without saying a word? Part 1. The true meaning of social presence in Stoicism. When most people hear the word Stoicism, they imagine a philosophy of detachment. They picture someone sitting alone in silence, meditating on life, shutting the world out. But that's a shallow interpretation. The truth is, the Stoics didn't retreat from life. They stepped directly into it. They carried responsibility, faced chaos, and even ruled empires. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king of Rome, is the clearest example. He wasn't a recluse hiding in temples. He was the leader of armies, the ruler of one of history's greatest empires. He stood at the very heart of politics and power, and yet he did it all with calm, with composure, with an unshakable presence. Marcus never had to shout to command. Respect, his very being, radiated authority. People followed him not because he demanded it, but because his presence made it impossible to ignore him. This is the essence of Stoic social presence. It's not an act. It's not about wearing a mask of cold indifference or pretending to be untouchable. Instead, it's about alignment. The harmony between your inner world and your outer appearance. The quiet strength inside you expressed naturally in the way you move, speak, and carry yourself. And why does this matter so much? Because presence has two undeniable powers. First, its outward effect. When you walk into a room with calm energy and grounded confidence, people notice. You don't need to demand respect. It comes as a natural consequence. Your composure speaks louder than any introduction could. Second, its inward effect. Every time you act with calmness and self-control, you send a message to yourself: I am in command of me. That repeated signal shapes your identity. It strengthens your inner fortress. The Stoics understood a timeless truth: as within, so without. The way you carry yourself in the world reflects the state of your inner mind, and the stronger the mind, the stronger the presence. Part 2. Body language, the silent message that speaks louder than words. Have you ever noticed how some people can walk into a room and the entire atmosphere shifts? No announcement, no loud entrance, not even a single word spoken, yet something about the way they carry themselves makes everyone take notice. That is the unspoken power of body language. Long before you say a word, your posture, your eye contact, even the rhythm of your breathing are already speaking for you. And the message can be either strength or weakness. Studies show that more than 70% of communication is non-verbal, which means people aren't just listening to what you say, they're reading who you are. And this is where the Stoics stand apart. A Stoic doesn't slouch or shrink into the background. He doesn't dart his eyes nervously around the room or fidget with his hands. His body is a reflection of his mind, calm, deliberate, steady. Picture it. You walk into a meeting. The old version of you might rush in, sit quickly, pull out your phone to avoid awkward silence. But the Stoic version of you, he enters with purpose. Shoulders back, chin level, each step intentional. He sits slowly, fully present, without urgency, without apology. He doesn't need to fill the air with nervous chatter. The room feels his presence before he even speaks. And when he finally does speak, the weight of his words doubles because his body already told the story of composure. That is why body language is such a crucial part of commanding presence. It is the bridge between your inner discipline and the outer world. You don't need to declare who you are. Your stance, your gaze, your stillness will do it for you. Remember this, your body speaks before your mouth ever opens. The question is, what story is it telling? Part 3. The power of silence, turning quiet into strength. Most people are terrified of silence. In conversations, they rush to fill every pause with small talk, nervous laughter, or meaningless words. They think silence makes them look awkward, but the truth is the opposite. Silence, when controlled, creates gravity. Think about the last time someone paused before answering you. For a brief moment, you leaned in. You anticipated their words. That pause gave their response weight. It's no accident the strongest communicators know how to use silence like a weapon. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. Epictetus advised, "Be silent for the most part, or speak only what is necessary, and in a few words." To the Stoic, silence isn't weakness, it's discipline. It's the refusal to waste breath on what doesn't matter. It's the confidence to let your presence do most of the talking. Imagine you're in a heated discussion. Everyone else is raising their voice, trying to dominate the air with noise. Instead of jumping into the chaos, you sit still, you breathe, you wait. When the room finally quiets, you deliver one calm, precise statement. Suddenly, all the shouting feels hollow compared to your steady words. That is the power of silence. Silence also protects you. Most people reveal too much about themselves because they can't stand empty space in conversation. They over-explain, they ramble, they give away their thoughts and emotions for free. But when you hold back, you control the flow. You make others reveal themselves while you remain unreadable. And silence isn't just for conversations. It's a way of moving through life. A Stoic doesn't broadcast every plan or boast about every goal. He builds in silence and lets results speak in thunder. True confidence doesn't crave constant attention, it thrives in restraint. So train yourself to embrace pauses. Let silence become your armor, because when you finally choose to speak, people will lean in not just to hear your words, but to feel the weight behind them. Remember, noise is cheap, silence is powerful. Part 4. Speak with clarity, not volume. In every room, there's always someone trying to dominate by being the loudest voice. They talk over others, raise their volume, and believe that noise equals power. But here's the truth. The louder someone tries to be, the more fragile they often are. Real strength doesn't shout. Real strength speaks with clarity. The Stoics knew this well. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." One short, sharp sentence, clear, undeniable. More powerful than 100 rambling speeches. When you speak with clarity, you don't need volume. Your words carry because they're precise. Your tone is calm but firm. Each sentence is crafted with intention, not thrown out carelessly. People don't remember how much you said, they remember the one thing you said that pierced through the noise. Think of it like a blade. A dull sword needs to hack wildly to do damage. A sharp blade needs only a single strike. In the same way, clarity turns your voice into something people can't ignore. Picture yourself in a meeting again. One person talks endlessly, circling around their point, trying to sound impressive. Another jumps in, speaking quickly, nervously, hoping to win approval. Then you calm, composed, wait for the right moment. You deliver one simple sentence that cuts straight to the heart of the issue. Suddenly, the room shifts. People nod. They quote you later, not because you were the loudest, but because you were the clearest. This is the Stoic way of communication. Speak less, mean more. Don't try to overwhelm with sound. Instead, aim to leave an imprint. A single well-placed truth has more impact than 100 shallow arguments. So the next time you feel tempted to raise your voice to be heard, remember this: clarity conquers volume. Speak slowly, speak deliberately, speak only what matters. And let your words echo, not because they were loud, but because they were true. Part 5. Actions outshine words. Talk is cheap. Anyone can make promises, boast about their goals, or tell the world what they plan to do. but very few follow through, and that's why actions will always outshine words. The Stoics were never interested in empty declarations. They believed that virtue, discipline, and strength should be demonstrated through how you live, not how you speak. Epictetus once reminded his students, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." In other words, stop telling people who you are, show them. Think about the people you respect most. Is it the ones who brag about their accomplishments? Or is it the ones who quietly, consistently deliver results without needing applause? True presence isn't built by talking about yourself. It's built by showing up again and again until your consistency speaks louder than any speech could. Imagine this scenario. Two people at the gym. One constantly tells everyone how hard they train, how disciplined they are. The other doesn't say a word. He just shows up every day, pushes through the work, and lets his transformation do the talking. 6 months later, who do you believe more? The silent one. Why? Because results are undeniable. In business, in relationships, in personal growth, it's the same. People stop listening to what you promise once they see what you consistently deliver. And the paradox is this: the less you try to prove yourself with words, the more people respect you when they see the results. The Stoic approach is simple. Let your life speak. Don't announce every plan. Don't broadcast every intention. Build quietly. Act relentlessly. And when the results arrive, they will speak on your behalf with a volume no words could match. Remember this principle. Words are an echo. Actions are the original sound. Anyone can echo. Only the disciplined create the source. So, as you move through life, don't waste energy convincing people of who you are. Focus on becoming undeniable, because when your actions roar, your words become unnecessary. Part 6. Practicing social presence in everyday life. Philosophy means nothing if it stays in books. The Stoics never wanted their ideas locked away in dusty scrolls. They wanted philosophy lived, practiced, tested in the real world. And social presence is no different. It's not just theory. It's something you can practice every single day. Let's take a few ordinary situations and see how a Stoic presence would transform them. Scenario 1. The meeting. Picture yourself walking into a work meeting. Most people rush in, shuffle papers, check their phones nervously, or talk just to fill the air. But you enter calmly, with steady steps. You sit down without haste, your posture straight, your attention fully on the room. You don't interrupt, you don't compete for attention. And then, at the right moment, you deliver one clear, thoughtful insight. That single comment carries more weight than 10 minutes of rambling. People leave remembering what you said, not because it was loud, but because it was intentional. Scenario 2. The social gathering. At a party or casual get-together, most people fight for airtime. They tell stories, crack jokes, and try desperately to hold attention. The Stoic way is different. You don't need to be the entertainer. You listen more than you speak. You watch the room. And when you do contribute, you drop one sharp observation that makes people pause. Suddenly, you become the person they remember, not because you dominated the conversation, but because you added value at just the right time. Scenario 3. The conflict. Someone provokes you. They raise their voice, throw insults, or try to bait you into reacting. The old you might snap back, defending yourself or escalating the argument. But the Stoic version of you stays still. Your silence unsettles them. Your calm makes their anger look foolish. And when you finally respond, you do so in a measured tone, stripping their outburst of its power. These scenarios prove a simple truth. Social presence isn't about being the loudest in the room. It's about being the most grounded. It's about showing people, through composure and timing, that you are unshakable. Practice this daily. In meetings, with friends, in conflict. Each time, you are training not just how the world sees you, but how you see yourself. Part 7. Common mistakes when building social presence. When people first hear the phrase commanding presence, many immediately fall into traps. They think it means acting cold, putting on a mask of toughness, or faking a mysterious aura. Some even exaggerate their confidence, trying to look cool or intimidating. But here's the truth: that's not Stoicism, that's theater, and every performance eventually cracks. A Stoic doesn't need to pretend, he doesn't need a mask. His presence comes from authenticity, the calmest, most disciplined, most confident version of himself. Presence isn't something you put on like a costume, it's something that radiates from who you've trained yourself to become. Another common mistake? Talking too much. Some try to dominate conversations by bragging about their achievements or forcing themselves into the spotlight. But the paradox of presence is this: the more you try to prove yourself, the weaker you look. Real presence doesn't come from seeking attention. It comes from being so grounded that attention naturally flows toward you. People can sense the difference. The loudest in the room often reveal their insecurity, while the one who speaks little but with depth becomes unforgettable. True magnetism doesn't come from the noise of your words, it comes from the weight of your character. So how do you avoid these mistakes and start building authentic presence? Through practice. Not once a month, not once in a while, but every day. Body language drill. Each morning, stand tall for 2 minutes, shoulders back, chin slightly raised, eyes steady on the horizon. Silence, practice. In one conversation each day, resist the urge to fill the air. Speak only when you have something worth saying. Clarity training. Before you speak in public, write down 3 main points. No more, no less. Action before words. Do the work first. Talk later, if at all. Social reflection. At the end of the day, note one moment when you embodied presence. Review, refine, repeat. Remember, presence isn't a performance. It's the disciplined expression of who you truly are. Conclusion. The message of Day 4. Day 4 doesn't ask you to perform, nor to become someone you're not. It simply asks you to let the world see the strength you've been building inside. You've disciplined your body. You've sharpened your mind. Now it's time to project that calm power outward, not through bragging, not through noise, but through an undeniable presence. Remember, the strongest voice in the room doesn't have to be loud. It only has to be steady and impossible to ignore. If you're ready to practice Day 4, drop one word below: presence. And if this message resonates, consider subscribing to join the journey.